Hello everyone, this is my channel where I narrate light novels. Today I'm starting with Re:Zero, a fantasy adventure with time travel-based story. I hope you enjoy it. Let's go!
The guy in the story is in big trouble. He's broke and clueless about what to do. Technically, he has some cash in his wallet, but it's useless in this strange place, with a different currency system. He's an average-looking guy, not too tall or short, a bit muscular, wearing a gray tracksuit. Nothing special about him, but in this weird crowd, he stands out. Everyone else has crazy hair colors and is dressed in unusual outfits. As he stands there, people stare at him like he's some strange creature. Turns out he's been summoned to another world, and he figures it out because nobody here has black hair or wears tracksuits. His name is Subaru Natsuki, a regular Earth guy who used to skip a lot of high school. Now, he's stuck in a medieval-like world, with no idea how to survive. He quickly realizes that his cash is useless, and people here use gold, silver, and copper coins. Despite the bizarre situation, Subaru rolls with it, thanks to his exposure to fantasy stuff from anime and games. It's like a dream come true, but he's also wondering, what the heck is going on? So, he's just trying to figure things out in this strange new world. He is now realizing that he's in deep trouble without some safety net. He complains about his lack of cool equipment, unlike the typical fantasy hero, with a legendary sword like Excalibur. His possessions are pretty sad: a dying cell phone, a wallet full of useless video rental cards, some instant ramen, a bag of snacks, a favorite but unwashed tracksuit, and worn-out sneakers. Not exactly the gear you'd want in a new world. As he observes the bizarre beings around him, like people with animal features, Subaru guesses he's in a world of half-humans, wars, and adventures. He notices lizard carts and concludes that animals here are like the ones in his world. Despite his observations, Subaru is clueless about what to do next or why he was summoned. He expected a beautiful girl to be the one who summoned him, but that's not happening. Now, feeling lost, he contemplates returning to his usual strategy of escaping reality. Just as he's about to hit the main road, three tough-looking guys corner him in an alley. They demand everything he's got, and Subaru realizes he's in a classic situation, a compulsory event, encountering thugs to show the dangers of this new world. The plot thickens as Subaru faces a potential threat from these not-so-friendly characters. Facing the menacing thugs in the alley, Subaru tries to act tough, boasting about superpowers he thinks he might have in this new world. He attempts a punch, and surprisingly, it lands well, giving him a burst of confidence. Subaru goes on to kick another guy, thinking he's invincible. However, things take a turn when he realizes the last thug has a knife. Panicking, Subaru quickly drops to the ground, begging for mercy and showing extreme submission. It's a complete shift from his earlier bravado. The thugs, unfazed, get back on their feet, revealing that Subaru's attacks did minimal damage. In simple terms, Subaru thought he had cool powers, but turns out he doesn't. The thugs are not impressed and retaliate, beating him up pretty bad. It's a harsh reality check for Subaru, facing the consequences of his earlier bravado. In a desperate attempt to save himself from the thugs, Subaru tries to reason with them, but they're not buying it. They plan to take whatever he has, including his clothes and shoes. As the knife is about to strike, a girl with long blonde hair appears, raising Subaru's hopes. However, she apologizes, dashes past the scene, and nonchalantly leaves the alley. The disappointment is palpable, and the alley falls silent. Subaru's situation doesn't improve. The thugs are still angry, and Subaru is helpless on the ground. The girl's unexpected and unhelpful intervention leaves everyone stunned. Subaru tries to plead for mercy, but the thugs are even angrier now. The imminent danger is clear as the knife edges closer. Subaru looks around desperately for someone or something to save him, but nothing changes. In the midst of despair, a sudden heroic voice interrupts the tension. Someone is stepping in to confront the thugs. The atmosphere shifts, offering a glimmer of hope for Subaru, who was resigned to his fate just moments ago. In the midst of the tense situation, time seemed to freeze as a new character entered the scene, a beautiful girl with silver hair. She radiated an air of nobility and carried herself with grace, dressed in simple yet elegant white clothes. Her standout feature was a cloak adorned with an embroidered bird of prey. Her voice was like music to Subaru's ears, momentarily distracting him from the dire circumstances. The girl addressed the thugs, condemning their actions and demanding they return what they stole. The men were taken aback, questioning the girl's identity and suggesting she was after Subaru. Desperation kicked in for the thugs as they pointed fingers at Subaru and blamed a girl from before for the alleged theft. The girl, seemingly unconvinced, turned to Subaru for confirmation. He nodded, affirming their story. However, the girl wasn't done. She decided to take matters into her own hands and confronted the men. With a wave of her hand, she summoned magical lights that struck the men, throwing them backward. Then, she showcased another surprise, magic. Subaru was taken aback by the girl's use of magic, though he found it less flashy than he'd expected. The girl, seemingly unimpressed, wasn't done dealing with the thugs. Two of the men, now infuriated, were ready to retaliate despite the magical assault. The girl, unfazed, suggested a 2-on-2 fight. Suddenly, a mysterious voice chimed in, proposing a fairer 2-on-2 match. Subaru and the men looked around, confused. Then, the girl extended her hand, revealing a small cat that spoke. The cat claimed to be a spirit mage and warned the thugs about any harm to the girl. Intimidated, the men quickly retreated, vowing revenge. The girl and the cat, seemingly nonchalant, warned them off with casual threats. Once the thugs were gone, Subaru, grateful, tried to stand up but was met with the girl's cold and cautious response. She remained on guard, not trusting him entirely. Uncomfortably, Subaru found himself captivated by the girl's beauty, blushing and looking away. The girl, noticing his reaction, became more suspicious. It was a strange encounter, leaving Subaru in an awkward position, unsure of how to express his gratitude. The small cat Puck vouched for Subaru, claiming he sensed no evil intentions. However, the girl, now flustered, asked Subaru if he knew the girl who stole her badge. Subaru, maintaining his innocence, apologized for not knowing her. The conversation shifted to Subaru's well-being, with Puck suggesting they leave him. Subaru tried to assure them he would be fine. As Subaru attempted to make a charming offer of assistance, he suddenly felt dizzy, collapsing to the ground. The girl and Puck debated what to do about him, ultimately deciding to leave him behind. Subaru's consciousness drifted away, and he wondered if he would be abandoned in the alley. When Subaru woke up, the sun was shining, and he found himself lying on the ground with his head on something soft. A voice from above greeted him, and Subaru realized he wasn't alone. Subaru woke up with his head in the lap of a giant cat, Puck, who was trying to make him feel comfortable. Subaru jokingly compared the experience to having a girl's lap as a pillow, leading to banter between him and Puck. The silver-haired girl, whom Subaru encountered before losing consciousness, appeared again and emphasized that she stayed because she had more questions for him. The girl, seemingly unimpressed by Subaru's antics, explained that she had healed his wounds and had Puck act as a pillow for her sake. She commanded Subaru to make it up to her, revealing her suspicion that he knew something about her stolen badge. Subaru, genuinely unaware, reiterated that he had no knowledge about the badge. Despite his lack of information, the girl considered his ignorance as valuable. As the conversation concluded, the girl warned Subaru about the dangers of being alone in such alleys. She clarified that her concern wasn't for him, but issued a stern warning that she wouldn't save him again if he found himself in a similar situation. With that, she swiftly left the alley. As the silver-haired girl walked away, Subaru pondered on her lack of honesty and her mysterious intentions. Despite saving Subaru and healing him, she seemed detached and focused on her own goals. Subaru found her actions puzzling, but decided to run after her and offer his help. He caught up with her at the entrance of the alley, suggesting he could assist in finding what she lost. The girl, surprised by Subaru's willingness, hesitated but eventually agreed. Subaru shared the description of the girl who stole from her, emphasizing the distinctive features. The girl found Subaru's reasoning amusing but agreed to let him assist her. With Subaru's peculiar motivations, the duo set off on their quest to find the stolen item. As they began their search, Subaru, unfamiliar with the town and unable to read the local language, faced difficulties, causing frustration for both him and the girl. After an hour of aimless wandering, they found themselves back in an alley, and the girl seemed displeased with Subaru's perceived lack of progress. Subaru recognized the challenges he faced in this unfamiliar world, from navigation issues to language barriers. The illegible symbols around him hindered their progress, and Subaru couldn't help but feel the world wasn't being kind to him. The girl, lost in her own thoughts, muttered something with her eyes closed, leaving Subaru puzzled about her actions. The duo struggled to make any headway in their search, and Subaru couldn't help but lament the difficulties presented by the unfamiliar world. Subaru, curious about the girl's actions, learned that she was communicating with lesser spirits. Puck the cat explained that lesser spirits were in the early stages of becoming real spirits, and if they gained power and self-awareness, they would advance like him. Subaru couldn't resist interrupting the mystical scene, causing the lesser spirits to scatter, much to the girl's frustration. The girl scolded Subaru for his recklessness, emphasizing the potential danger of inexperienced spirit mages losing control. Subaru, unimpressed by the seemingly harmless nature of the lights, dismissed the notion of spirits being dangerous. Buck, however, warned Subaru about the true power of spirits and their potential to turn someone into dust in seconds. Subaru, now aware of the seriousness, apologized, realizing the gravity of his mistake. The girl, disappointed by the disrupted contact with the lesser spirits, confessed that she was trying to gather information about what she was looking for. Subaru's blunder had inadvertently hindered her efforts, leaving her frustrated and unsure about how to proceed. Recognizing his limitations, Subaru feared he might only be a hindrance to the girl's mission. Subaru, determined to salvage his relationship with the girl, introduces himself energetically, claiming to be from a mysterious country in the east. Puck, the cat spirit, also reveals his name, and Subaru attempts a handshake that makes it seem like he wants to squeeze the cat to death. The girl, surprised by Subaru's boldness, questions him about his origin, and Subaru plays along with the common trope of being from a hidden country to the east. However, when the girl points out that there is no country east of Luganica, Subaru realizes that he doesn't know where he is. This revelation adds to the girl's concern for Subaru as she observes his lack of money, inability to read, and having no one to rely on. Subaru, in turn, is perplexed by her growing anxiety and caring nature. The girl, scrutinizing Subaru, notices his physical fitness and curious air, leading her to believe he might come from a high-ranking family. Subaru tries to deny it, but the girl insists that his features and refined appearance suggest otherwise. Subaru, feeling uneasy, realizes that the girl might be onto something about his true background. As the interaction unfolds, Subaru finds himself caught between the girl's insightful observations and the need to maintain a facade. The dynamics of their relationship take an intriguing turn as Subaru grapples with revealing more about himself, while the girl continues to unravel the mysteries surrounding him. The girl, feeling embarrassed about her earlier assumptions, assures Subaru that he doesn't need to explain if he doesn't want to. Subaru, grappling with the risk of sharing the truth, appreciates the girl's understanding. Despite her weakened tone, the girl suggests dropping the topic if it's difficult for Subaru. Subaru reflects on his lack of support and realizes that he should focus on helping the girl who saved his life. Feeling a renewed sense of determination, he decides to gather information about the thief who stole from the girl. Subaru starts by asking about the capital and its characteristics. Attempting to deduce where the thief might come from, he suggests looking for places with high crime rates or slums, believing that the thief may have connections there. The girl praises Subaru's logical thinking, and they decide to follow his plan to gather information on the streets. Despite Subaru's modesty, the girl appreciates his contribution and agrees to follow his lead. As they head toward the main road, Subaru remembers he doesn't know the girl's name. When he brings it up, she reveals her name as Satella. This marks a new step in their journey as they prepare to search for the elusive thief in the bustling city. Subaru hesitated after learning the girl's name, Satella, and sensing her emotional distance. She explained that she didn't have a last name and suggested using her first name. However, her tone lacked emotion, making it seem like she wasn't eager to be addressed by any name. Buck, the cat spirit, found Subaru's decision to avoid using Satella's name in bad taste. As they returned to the main road to start their search for the thief, Satella noticed a lost-looking child across the street. Concerned, she wondered if the girl needed help. Subaru, recognizing Satella's kindness, tried to prioritize their mission to find the thief. However, Satella, deeply moved by the child's distress, expressed her desire to help. Subaru pointed out the urgency of their mission, emphasizing that the thief might get away if they delay. He suggested that someone else might assist the child, but Satella, noticing the girl's tears, insisted on helping her first. Feeling torn between the two situations, Subaru found himself in a challenging position as Satella prioritized her compassionate nature over their primary mission. With her silver hair flowing, Satella crossed the street to comfort a lost little girl. The child, looking up with hope, mistook Satella for someone else. However, fear overshadowed her eyes as she was approached by a stranger. Satella, trying to reassure her, spoke in a gentle tone, but the frightened girl remained wary. Subaru, in his gray tracksuit, suddenly intervened with a playful distraction, showcasing a notched 10-yen coin. Ignoring Satella's confusion, he performed a magic trick, making the coin disappear and reappear. The little girl, captivated by the illusion, received the coin as a gift. Subaru, pleased with the outcome, promised to explain the trick later. Satella, still puzzled, poked Subaru and asked about his expertise in dealing with children. Subaru reassured her and continued to engage with the girl, learning about her situation. The child had become separated from her mother. Subaru, adopting a comforting role, assured her they would find her mother. With a pat on the head, Subaru held out his hand, and after some hesitation, the girl took it, observing Subaru's ease with children. Satella jokingly questioned if he had a profession in child taming.
In today's ReZero light novel narration, we covered interesting content. If you enjoyed it, consider giving a thumbs up, sharing with friends, leaving a comment, and subscribing for more. Thanks for watching. See you next time.